economy has grown at a shocking pace in the fourth quarter. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. According to CNN Business, the U.S. economy remained shockingly robust in the fourth quarter to close at a remarkably strong 2023 as consumers and businesses continued to spend, crushing expectations of a recession. Gross domestic product, the broadest measure of economic output, rose at a seasonably and inflation adjusted annualized rate of 3.3% from October through December, the Commerce Department reported Thursday. That was slower than the blistering 4.9% rate from July through September, when American consumers splashed out on services and goods. Growth in 2023 overall from January through December of last year registered at a robust 2.5% rate. But the fourth quarter's rate trounced the 1.5% that economists were expecting, according to FactSet estimates. The economy's strength in the final months of 2023 was broad-based, driven by consumer spending, business investment, government outlays, exports, and improvements in housing conditions. Consumer spending, which accounts for about two-thirds of the U.S. economy, grew at a healthy 2.8%. In the fourth quarter, a slightly softer pace than the 3.1 rate in the prior three-month period. Meanwhile, business spending accelerated to 1.9% rate, up from 1.4%. Prospects are good that the economy will continue to perform well this year. Scott Hoyt, Senior Director at Moody's Analytics, said in a release, consumers are doing their part and spending just enough to support broader economic growth. Thursday's GDP, or Gross National Product, report shows that the U.S. economy has cooled some in recent months, but it's not clear if that was enough of a slowdown to keep the Federal Reserve on track to cut interest rates anytime soon. Fed Governor Christopher Waller, an influential official at the central bank, said in a speech earlier this month, Fed Governor Christopher Waller, an influential official at the central bank, said in a speech earlier this month that if economic activity that seems to have moderated in the fourth quarter of 2023 does not play out, then that could delay rate cuts. Market expectations of that first rate cutting or coming in March must have been crumbling in recent weeks. As the United States gears up for a presidential election, the latest GDP reading proves further evidence that the economy is nowhere near recession territory. Americans are still opening their wallets and U.S. consumer sentiment is soaring, mostly thanks to slowing inflation, that's on top of a rallying U.S. stock market beefing up America's retirement accounts. That all paints a vivid picture of a robust economic landscape, which should improve President Joe Biden's lackluster ratings on the economy in the polls, according to economists. In separate speeches Thursday, Biden and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen are expected to tout the strong economy, while noting that there is still inequality to be addressed. President Biden and I believe that GDP growth is not meaningful if it is not shared. If it doesn't impact the lives of these Americans, Yellen said in prepared remarks, meaning everybody got to get some money so everybody can live. Now let's get back to the article. Economists and Fed officials widely expected the U.S. economy to run at a slower pace this year compared to 2023, but not contract. That means the Fed still has a decent shot at defeating inflation without mass job losses, known as a soft landing. We will continue to see a soft landing as the most likely outcome this year, even if a collection of headwinds and risks means that recession odds are around 35%. Lydia Boycer, senior economist at EY Parthenon, wrote in a note Thursday, while there is no doubt that the economy still has some wins in its sails, we believe cooler days are on the horizon, she added, meaning we ain't nothing but a bunch of pessimists. That's what that means. We can't say nothing good about Joe Biden. While the GDP report showed that growth remained robust in the fourth quarter. It also didn't show any worrying signs of inflation reigniting. The personal consumption expenditures, price indexing, including food and energy prices, a closely watched measure of underlying inflation held steady at 2% in the October through December period for the second straight quarter. That's right at the Fed's official target. Still, Fed officials have said they likely need to see below trend growth to be assured that inflation is sustainably under control. The Fed's mechanism of slowing inflation is by deliberately cooling the economy through higher interest rates, which are currently nestled at a 23-year high. Fed officials convene in Washington next week for their latest monetary policy meeting, and they're widely expected to hold rates steady for the fourth consecutive meeting. Meaning y'all better not screw it up. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender. Never.